Hey YouTube, welcome back to the Hangar Garage. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jeremy. We have Blake, Nate, and Rob here with us for another episode of Breaktime. Now, as car guys, we've all got stories of just something utterly ludicrous happening to us. A breakdown on the road, you somehow ended up in a ditch. Nate was in a parking lot. Stuff happens when you wrench on cars and take care of them yourself. So today, we're all going to kind of share some of our most ridiculous or most memorable or most hilarious kind of car stories that we've had throughout the years. Now, I think I have a sneaking suspicion of what your story is going to be. Does it involve a snowplow?
Yes, it does. It absolutely does.
I haven't heard this story.
Please,
Oh, fun.
enlighten us.
Fun. This is a great story.
Paint us a word picture, Nathan.
So we live in Michigan, and Michigan gets a lot of snow. So I'm leaving my job in Sheba, which is my 2004 330xi, great winter car, and it's pretty heavy traffic on a four-lane, essentially highway. And there's a plow coming down the road, and I'm making a right into the first lane, and another car pulls up to me a little bit farther to make a right into basically what we call a Michigan left, which is a U-turn. So I have to edge out a little bit more so I can see oncoming traffic. Meanwhile, plow's coming down on the shoulder. And I'm like, this is cool. He'll move out of the way. He sees cars here. Nope, he didn't do that.
Plow driver don't care.
No, so he basically pushed thick slush snow right up into my front end.
I remember when that happened too. It had been like one of those crazy dump snow, thaw, freeze
Yes.
cycles.
Yes.
So that must have just been like the most densely packed, heavy, wet stuff. That
Almost boulders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So I really didn't think a lot of it. Other than that guy is a big DB, a Delta Bravo. So I get home and I go to work the next day, and someone points out that there is a nice puddle of something spewing out of my car.
Oh, beautiful blood red color too, wasn't it?
Couldn't really tell because the pavement was just sort of ice at that point, so it's black.
Yeah.
Put my finger down there and I was like, okay, yep, that's right.
Oh.
So luckily, BMW's under pressure. Basically, everything's under pressure in that car. So I was able to get it home without depleting all of my transmission fluid. What had happened is the snow plow pushed and cracked out my kidney grills and pushed the snow up underneath my car and cracked my transmission lines.
The trans cooler lines.
Yeah, which are aluminum.
Yep.
Hard lines. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is cool. Now, I didn't know you yet, so I had no access to a lift, and I had a one-stall garage at the time.
And this is the middle of winter.
And it's the middle of winter.
Nice and hot.
Been there.
So the trans cooler that hooks to the radiator is attached by plastic tubing. That's a first yay when you're trying to pull that out.
Yep.
Nextly, they crisscross underneath the subframe.
Perfect.
And then they crisscross again back into the back of the transmission. So I spent a good, 6 weeks just trying to get them worked in there.
Holy shit.
Just trying to get them worked in there.
A
6
nice
weeks.
little braid.
Luckily, I had my backup vehicle, which is I can't even describe it to you. I don't understand why they made it simple because it's basically a straight shot. Like, you just had to do this, but they had like these weird kinks. And I worked so hard just to get them perfectly aligned, and one day I was just getting pissed off, and I just did this, and they just fit into place.
That's all it takes.
And that's all it takes. Yeah. And this is actually, it got to, I think, springtime before I actually filled the transmission fluid on it.
Wow.
Because I had to level up the car and start it because they don't actually have a filler port. It was supposed to be one of those transmissions that...
Unserviceable or not needed to be serviced.
Not needed to be serviced, which is a load of crap. So...
Lifetime fluid.
Lifetime fluid.
Basically just means until it dies.
Yeah, so basically a ton...
That's the lifetime.
A ton of E46s blew their transmissions because they never serviced them.
Well,
and just got gunky. And,
also because for a good long while, BMW catered to idiots. People with more money than sense.
Yeah.
They're just going to buy a really nice car and then F it, not do any maintenance.
Buy a new one.
Well, the
Sure.
weird part about
right?
it is at least they still had because they're German, had the common sense or the decency to put a fill hole in the transmission pan. so you could still fill it from the transmission. It's a pain, but you
Yeah.
can still do it. You have to get underneath the ground. You got to pump it in
That's how my
How does that go? again?
2012 F-150 is.
like this.
They got rid of a dipstick. There's no dipstick on that anymore.
No.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Like underneath it.
Yeah.
So that was an event.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
The hard lines for that are like this long, and they've got all
Yes.
kinds of crazy kinks and bends in them.
You like
Yeah.
turn them 6 times to
It
weave
would
them
it
into
would
the
be
hole.
difficult doing even up on a lift, and he did it on the floor in his
Yeah.
garage.
Cold.
Which
Very cold.
well, my story is similar.
Okay.
Cold garage floor.
Sounds like a good lead-in.
Yeah. So
Top it.
one
Let's
of
go.
one of my all-time favorite accomplishments on my 2001 740i was when the drive shaft center bearing went out, and it started making this horrible gong 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 noise anytime I was in reverse. So I'm thinking to myself, good Lord, I need a whole new rear differential now, or my axles are frickin' pretzeled, or something terrible's happening. Got underneath it, and thankfully nothing was too bad, but if you grab the drive shaft, you could actually give it a good wiggle. Which you're not supposed to be able to do. The center bearing is supposed to be that kind of solidifying support for it, right?
Sure.
So, again, middle of winter. BMWs love breaking
Always.
down in the middle of winter.
Always.
I managed to find a used one in good condition from a guy here. Sold it to me for $100. Whole drive shaft, good center bearing. Now that's like $1,000 worth of stuff
Nice.
for $100, but had to put it on in the garage on jack stands, middle of winter, ice cold concrete floor.
It's the worst.
I mean,
Literally the worst.
It's like that
The
far off the
worst.
ground. I'm not a svelte man, and I was like pinched up underneath there, wiggling around. Had to pull the exhaust down to get to the drive shaft too, so I have
Yep.
to deal with that. And that exhaust is heavy.
And
That was
definitely
before.
not rusty either,
before you-
right?
That was before we did the muffler delete and took about 80 pounds worth of metal out of the back of the car.
Yes.
So yeah, I had to get the muffler down, the drive shaft off, and I've got no clearance to get like a good breaker bar on any of those Guibo bolts or anything. And those are on there freaking well, man. And then part of the reinstallation of a drive shaft is you have to basically preload the center bearing, which means you get one end in and then like heave as hard as you can while you tighten those center bearing bolts down to the body of the car. Again, about that much clearance.
Plenty of room.
All of this loveliness up underneath there, trying to do this weird contortionist thing that there were. Let's just say I'm glad my kids didn't hear me. There were
choice
many
words.
There were many adult words, adult phrases, other sounds. Yeah, man, that was BMWs, middle of winter, cold garage floors. That's
Always.
a thing.
It's always been a little.
Yeah, cold garage floors are the worst.
Yeah, they are. So I got one.
Do you?
Yeah,
I don't believe it.
Sweet.
it's the
Is it-
first
is it-
the first time I had to do this repair.
Is
it
it-
was the middle of winter.
Is it
think I
about
know
a
what it is.
contour?
It's about a contour.
Yeah.
Does it take a super, super long attachment?
Many of them. So, internet, my the first car I bought with my own money was an SVT Contour, 1998.
We should talk
Beautiful.
Red one, right?
Beautiful red one.
Love that
I've owned two, a red and a green, a 2000 as well. The red one though was the first one that I had to do my first alternator replacement on, which the Contours were notorious for, first of all, destroying alternators and then also being terribly hard to replace them because they're hard to get to.
It was a
Because
tight package.
It's a 2.5 liter V6 and a
Somebody-
tiny little car.
Some might call it a
Front-wheel drive.
purposeful flaw. Ford.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. So, yeah, I did a bunch of reading online and I was like, I'm going to have to get a lot of extensions because you basically have to take off the passenger side wheel, take off some of the tie rod ends and stuff, and
Seriously?
and then
Oh my goodness.
then from the other side of the car, you have to like fish a bunch of extensions, probably a good 2.5 feet to 3 feet worth of extensions for a couple of the bolts. It's 3 bolts to get those, right? So I had to go buy a bunch of extensions and elbows to get this thing in the right angle and position.
God bless
And
the
it's
wobble
winter,
head adapter,
obviously,
my
in my
gosh.
garage, and it's cold because it just makes it better. So It took a better part of a day to get that repair done. Finally got it out, put in a new one, and it worked. It was great.
good
And then
when
I
it
was
works.
like, this car's great. And then I loved it. Ended up selling it. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to buy another one. So I bought a green one.
Did
More
you?
rare. I love it. It was great.
Do you have to do the alternator on that one at some point? Too?
Twice. Oh! So I've done this 3 times.
So if you
2
have
times in the green car. I got better every time. I probably shaved an hour or so off each time I did it. And I
Practice.
already had all the parts that I needed as far as extensions.
Yeah.
So
Practice makes perfect.
Practice
yeah,
does
I
make
got
perfect.
pretty good. I still don't want to do them ever again.
I myself had a Contour once upon a
but-
time, and
Yeah,
I remember, it was the little 4-banger though, and I remember looking at the under the hood of yours for the first time after
Yeah.
I had mine. I was like, "Sweet Jesus, how did they fit it all in here?"
Yeah. It was a fun car. 200 horse in that tiny little car for its time. I mean, there weren't many small cars that had that much power. And then
Especially
a lot of
sedans.
guys in the community put
Yeah.
in the 3 liters from Taurus.
I don't even know how they got that in there.
same,
so
same block and stuff.
because-
Yeah,
Holy
3
cow.
liter V6 in a little Ford Contour.
I feel like Ford probably should have gotten an award for stuffing that engine in there because
it was like-
there was no
I
clearance.
think for its
anything.
year, there was only a couple cars that were more horsepower per liter or something like that, and there was like a Lotus. There was a couple other ones. There weren't very many.
So
that
go
were
for it on
high
that
of
one.
horsepower
Yeah.
for that size motor.
Well, I mean,
Anyway.
they had. Well, it didn't.
It was a Mondeo.
It was a
from Europe,
Mondeo, and
basically.
they had Cosworth do a little bit of the work on the design of that, if I remember
I
right.
think
Didn't
so,
they?
the intake and stuff. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it wasn't like Cosworth branded, but
No.
if I remember right,
Yeah.
that they did some of the engineering.
Yeah. It had a fancy intake with like secondaries and the.
Yeah. So you're
Nice. Runners
talking
and
about an
stuff,
alternate made me think of another story.
Yeah.
Again, 2001 740i.
Yep.
Water cooled alternator.
Oh yes, I was involved in this one.
Yeah, you remember that one. Water cooled alternator. Because BMW is notorious for monitoring everything with sensors and computer controlling everything.
Maybe over-engineering things when you have to have a water-cooled alternator.
Way over engineering
Yep.
things.
Yep.
So yeah, because they have such high electrical requirements, they wanted to keep the alternator cool so it would last longer. Makes sense, right?
Sure.
And to be fair, it was a good idea. My car's got 250,000 miles on it. And
Original
this
alternator.
it honestly, I believe it is too.
Wow.
So it lived a good life. It lived its best life. But it was my turn to replace it, I guess. So
Yeah.
that's a job. Would have gone
cooled.
really well, actually. I mean, the access to it was super simple, but I'm kind of an idiot, and trying to fit it back in with the gasket maker and
No
stuff
one's gonna deny what
around
you just said.
around the
Oh yeah,
the
'cause you have to
seal.
line that all up when you put it
Zero
in.
people.
Yeah, yeah. So I had to do it twice.
But was it wintertime?
When was that?
It was.
yeah,
no,
it was.
Fall,
Of
late
course
fall,
it was.
late fall.
Cars
right?
only
It was
break in
winter.
the
Oh my
wintertime.
god.
No, this,
Only.
the winter that this happened was unusual for us in that there wasn't a ton of snow. It got bitterly cold, but there wasn't a ton of snow. But yes, also
Of course,
Winter.
wintertime.
So I got a story. Not winter.
What?
At least
I don't believe you.
I don't. Well, so it's gonna be it went bad story, right?
Perfect.
And it was lack of paying attention to detail, right?
I'm pulling up the big guns for this
So
one.
I had an old pickup truck that I had
That
just
looks
around to use for
delicious.
pickup truck duties, take it up to deer hunting,
To beat up.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Lawn crap. Other than that,
Yeah.
I didn't drive it anymore, but that's what I
Sure.
had it for. And cab corners were rotting out on it, and I decided, you know what? It's time to clean this thing up a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
gonna buy some replacement cab corners and weld those in and repaint it in my garage.
Yep.
So, cut out cab corners, start welding in new cab corners.
DIY body work, respect, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited, gung ho. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make it look good. And I'm tack welding. I was like, man, that's weird. It smells that's goofy. And I look up, and the entire interior is engulfed in flames.
Yes.
I mean, I'm down at cab corner level, and I look up to
Sure.
a rear window, and there's flames up there. And there's melted plastic dripping down from the ceiling of the back of this truck.
I love this.
And it's like, well, I mean, that was a $1,500 truck or $2,000 truck. And it's like,
Turned into a $5,000 repair.
Wow.
yes. And it was like, good intentions, right?
Sure.
Good intentions to just make it somewhat presentable. Luckily, junkyard
Yep.
on the way out to Spring Lake had a similar truck, similar color interior. I was able to get. I had to get a whole new rear seat, right?
Yep.
All the body panels, headliner, front passenger seat, all of that, and speaker, all burnt, rust, or all burnt, melted, gone.
Melted.
Seat
Nice.
belts, of course, too. And I'm getting every part from the auto parts store for like $120.
Nice.
Because it was a '90s shit, like, and it's ugly red interior. Like, who wants it?
Nobody.
Right.
Pretty much only the guy that starts it on fire.
The guy that burns his.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
That does
See,
remind me
I
of a-
probably would have gone a different way. I probably would have taken that as an opportunity to update the interior a bit.
Why would you change it from red?
I don't understand your logic.
I don't.
Because
Burgundy, if it was
because I'm a
it was
man
an
of
ugly
impeccable
effing interior.
taste.
I do not disagree with you.
Burgundy is classy.
Other than it was.
Burgundy
Velour.
is just.
Burgundy
Piece of crap.
velour is the only kind of interior that
It's not a.
matters.
It's not a Chrysler LeBaron.
Did
Rob,
it smell
okay?
of rich mahogany?
Or a
Corinthian
it
leather.
smelled. It smelled like burnt plastic.
I remember our friend Andy had that Taurus that was the late 90s.
Oh yeah.
Red
Exterior, burgundy.
Yep.
Interior, burgundy.
Also,
That was
burgundy.
All
that was
burgundy.
this truck. It
Burgundy
was red
on
exterior,
burgundy.
dark
was
red
burgundy.
exterior.
That was the
Burgundy.
thing.
red
That was the
interior.
thing. Like you
Just beautiful.
wanted to be unsure if you were on the inside or the outside of your car.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, because that way when the painted interior door part that you see on those Chevy trucks, you use the, like the painted door sills, right? All that
Yeah.
you saw from the inside, so it matches.
It just blends, yeah.
Similar story.
smart.
Same not my vehicle, but buddy that had the same vehicle.
You were like, I know how to do this. I can fix this.
No, no. But
Hold
simple,
my beer.
simple
Hold my
repair. I believe we were changing the oil on my S10 Blazer or something like
Yeah.
that, and I had gotten the wrong oil filter. Very simple mistake from AutoZone because they make mistakes.
No.
As we,
all the time.
if
Sure, they sure don't.
Chad
Well,
was here,
did
he
they?
could tell you the story.
Did they ask you what make and model your car was?
Of course.
Did they ask you what engine it had?
Yes. Somehow they got
How could they possibly get things wrong then?
exactly.
They ask that for
The high
everything.
school dropout messed up. I'm sorry. So we're there. My oil is drained out of my car, and the oil filter is destroyed. Taking it off,
Uh-oh.
and it's like, I need to go to the store and get a new one. Call up a friend, right? Come over, help, whatever. So he picks me up. This is like high school age, right? So it's
Yeah.
like it takes 3 people to go to this auto parts store just because
Well, yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
So single cab pickup truck,
Yep.
3 guys across the bench seat in there, right?
Cozy.
It is lifted on 35s. And has open headers because he hasn't finished this job. His mechanic worked on his truck. So loud as heck, right?
Oh boy.
So we drive out in Podunk, Marne, Michigan, gravel roads to 24-hour AutoZone on 28th Street
I miss
in
those.
Wyoming.
I miss
know.
those so
I
much.
think
Okay.
there's still 1 or 2 around, isn't there?
So we walk in.
Really?
I got my receipt and
Tells you how much I go to AutoZone.
I have my receipt and I have the wrong oil filter. I go, hey, I need to get this exchanged.
Yep.
Yep, no problem. Can you to return this one, I need to have the card that we put it on. Reach into my pocket to grab my stuff. Oh, crap. I forgot my wallet. Because I
feel like I've been
changed to
there.
work on cars and I didn't,
Yep.
never put it in my pocket. And I didn't drive, he drove,
Right.
right? Sorry. Well, she was nice enough to return it anyway, give me the right one.
Good to
We
go.
leave, right?
Yep.
There was I think a little bit of a price difference. Like 50 cents or something. And I was
Oh,
like,
no.
dude, I don't have cash. Andy, do you have cash? No. He didn't have his wallet with him. He'd done the exact same thing when he left to come to my house. Just,
Wait, is this a problem story? Is this just how some high school dropout helped you get 50 cents?
It gets better. So, same thing, Jamie. Dude, I rode my bike over. I didn't bring my wallet. Crap. So I thought we drove all the way out there, and now we're not even going to get the filter. And she gives us the filter, and we leave. Awesome. We're waiting to leave the parking lot. We need to go west. Martin is west,
Yep.
right? There's looking both ways for traffic. There's a clearing. My buddy Andy driving, guns it. Recall open headers, right?
Yep.
And turns left to go east. So he crosses 2 oncoming lanes of traffic, the left turn lane,
Yep.
right? It's raining out.
Oh boy.
Open headers,
Oh boy.
full throttle, sideways across 4 lanes of traffic.
Perfect.
I see 0 wrong with this story so far.
Awesome. It is also, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, there's a cop. Gotta be a cop.
First car coming towards us with lights.
Cap.
Cop.
Always a cap.
And, yes. So here we are. Whoa, all across all lanes of traffic. Sideways open headers, right? Like we just robbed the place.
You did.
And we're trying to
50 cents.
and we're trying to get away. So the first thing he does, yeah, that was a cop, is hard on the brakes. Next turn I can take. Let's see if I can go down a side street.
geez.
Maybe they won't see me.
He's
Oh,
quiet.
jeez.
Yes,
super
th-
quiet.
they won't hear it.
Never hear it.
Right? I'm looking
Stealth.
out the back window, and I see that cop. You know, he does this whipper, and we knew he already turned around. And you see him come to the road we turned on, and he's got his brakes on so hard that bumper's on the ground. I'm like, dude, just shut it off and wait for him. It's
good.
over, right? So cop comes flying on, lights up, everything else. And he does the whole, it's midnight cautious thing, you know?
Yep.
Lights in the back window, and I'm kind of looking out there. His back truck, his bed of his truck,
Yeah.
probably has 3 cases of empty beer bottles
Oh, of course
in the
it does.
back of his truck. Oh, it gets better. Probably at least a case of empty shotgun shells, all the
geez.
empties, thrown in the back of
they're
his.
empties. At least they're empties.
They've been shot because we were shooting clays like the day before, all in the back of his truck.
Perfect.
Right? Cop comes up, license registration.
Oops.
Yeah, so about that, we were all just at AutoZone as you saw us leave. None of us have our licenses or IDs with us. Okay. Registration, proof of insurance. I grab his glove box door and the door falls out and it is the worst mess you've ever seen.
Of course.
And he's like, it's not in there, it's in this shoebox. And he's like, reach under the shoe. He's got a shoebox. Looks the exact same way. Everything you could ever anything you could ever imagine is in this shoebox. And we're going through stuff. Right? This guy,
Lord.
and all we're finding is registration and insurance from 3 years ago. You know, not anyone.
Cops, they love that.
Yeah,
they do.
so here we are.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know how many violations.
Yeah, right?
Noise violations, repair violations, reckless driving violations, no license or insurance, IDs, anything, right? And he's shining his light at all of us. Is this car stolen? No, officer. Where are you guys from? Marn. You guys just need to go home.
That is a lack of
like,
paperwork that guy wanted to do.
Yeah.
He's like, I just want lack of paperwork.
Yes.
I would just like lack of paperwork.
So that repair turned into fantastic cop story.
Amazing.
I have one more fantastic cop story repair.
Cop
Same-
slash repair?
Being a recurring
Wow.
theme with you. Come on, Matt.
Same vehicle. Same vehicle, multiple repairs, trying to get it to run right. Fuel issues. It was part store, back and forth, for an entire day in the summer.
Been there.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And every single time, I think we took a different vehicle. One time it was my buddy's vehicle. The next time we took my dad's little MG. And every time we had a good time on the way there. Burnouts, flying down the road, donuts, you name it, right? From here to Wyoming, it was reckless driving essentially,
Sure.
right? So we were coming back, I think in my Blazer, actually after it was running. So the test drive for the Blazer was nothing but full throttle and donuts.
Just a quick recap. So nothing really happened to your car. It was just you getting pulled over by a cop. I mean, outside of the bad
On this one?
filter.
Oh, so this one.
Before-
Oh, the first one, yes.
oil
Completely.
filter
All I
didn't
did
fit.
is get the
I'm
wrong
speed
ones.
now.
See, AutoZone,
I was
don't get
still
people.
waiting for the story.
No, the story was AutoZone gave me the wrong filter and we almost went into jail. See,
The
you
filter
gotta be
didn't
careful.
fit. That's the story.
Yeah, that was
And
pretty
the
much it.
hardest repair he's ever done.
So this one was that
Yes.
same idea, weird stuff in middle of doing a donut, literally in the middle of doing a donut, sideways looking out the window, and there's a cop coming down the road towards me. Oh shit! My buddy in the passenger seat through the field to my house. We'll get away from him. So we're driving towards him. Instantly lights up. They're driving towards me, and we block both lanes of traffic. Like I pull over and park right here on the side of the road. And that cop does the same thing. Doesn't pull behind me, anything. Just stops and blocks the entire traffic. Walks out, lights on. So, Mr. Forsland.
Uh-oh.
Like, dude, he hasn't even seen my license plate yet. He knows my name.
You're in some trouble.
This is not good. Yeah, so they were paving our road at the time. So it was renovation. It was a construction zone. So it was
They charge
careless
more for
and
those.
reckless driving and like wrecking the road or something, and double the fine because it was a construction zone.
Yeah. Oops.
Double
And-
the fine, double the points too.
Yeah, and of course, dumb kid, right?
Yep.
Friends, everybody tell
Yeah,
you,
should
dude,
double-
you should probably take that to court. Maybe they'll at least lower it for you.
Double points on reckless driving. Yeah, there goes your license.
And I went
Whoops.
there, and that cop, I said, or the, not the cop, the
judge?
The judge essentially laughed at me and said, "Why are you even here?
Yeah,
You deserve everything that was given to you." Okay,
Oh. Oh, Blake.
so
Wow.
anyway, be careful of your repairs.
Yeah.
They can all get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Even
There's
the
a moral to
even
this
the,
story.
even the simple ones.
There's
even
a
the
moral
simple
Traveling
repairs.
to and from the store that seems to give them problems.
Yeah.
Not the
Yeah,
repairs.
Yeah.
You have
And the
a
test
journey.
driving.
The test driving. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a bad habit of
He
test
has
driving
a-
every repair. At
he has a
one
problem
point.
in transit.
Wide
The
open
repairs,
throttle, yeah.
Yeah.
but going
As
to
he-
and from parts stores,
Yeah.
that's the
As
problem.
opposed to the
Remind me
video I
never to
showed you
get
today.
into
on
a
the
car
way
with him to a parts store
Yeah. Never.
during repair.
at all, ever.
Nope.
Yeah, well, that's why I was. This must be why the fate. I was driving when we were dealing with Chad's brakes, and I had to hit like 3 different auto zones in one
You weren't
night.
pulled
Same
over
AutoZone.
backwards. Same one.
It was the same when I got pulled over at.
Back in the day, 28th Street.
Wow.
So many stories of that AutoZone.
Yeah, we ended up at the one in Kentwood. They had what we
Because they
needed.
had the part. Yeah.
They left it behind a dumpster because we couldn't get there in time.
Oh, that's
That was
so
nice
good.
of them.
It's so
Despite
good.
using the old, Nissan Quest minivan to try and break land speed records, we still couldn't get there before they closed. Because there are no more 24-hour AutoZone.
That's a bummer.
AutoZone,
Missed opportunity.
if anyone from AutoZone is watching, bring back the 24-hour stores, man.
Yes.
Just one in the middle
Come
of the
on.
city. That's all we
Agreed.
need.
Yeah, you don't need all of them.
It
Just
was a great
one.
thing.
One closest to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all we need, really.
We're accepting sponsors.
Or just like let us into the store after hours. I'd be cool with that too.
Keys. Sure.
Now that
I'll leave an IOU.
pipe dream.
We won't.
Then
Let, we won't let.
They're
Blake
good as
drive
gold.
there.
Yes, they are.
We'll drive. He won't drive.
Blake.
And we'll leave all IOUs.
Yes.
No big deal.
Yes. If Dumb and Dumber has taught us anything, is that IOUs
They're valid currency, man.
Yes.
valid currency.
Yes.
Valid currency. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hold on to that one.
Well, we've been thinking of like 8 different additional stories, but we should probably cap it
Yeah.
There are so many.
because, I mean, we could be here for hours.
we could.
That's true.
So
I
many
thought of
good
many more,
repair
too.
stories. That's true.
All right, guys, we're going to call this one for right now. Thank you so much for watching. Leave us a comment down below with your most ridiculous repair, and we'll catch you on the next one. Please consider liking and subscribing as well.
See ya.
See you guys.
later.